Klara Adalena. Klara Adalena, Klara Adalena, Klara. Klara, Klara, Klara. Klara Adalena, Klara Adalena. Klara Adalena, Klara Adalena, Klara Adalena, Klara Adalena. Klara Adalena, Klara Adalena. Nou, ik heb niet zoveel te klagen hoor. Klara Adalena. Klara Adalena, Klara Adalena. Klara Adalena, Klara Adalena, Klara Adalena, Klara Adalena. Klara Adalena, Klara Adalena, Klara Adalena. Ik moet er eigenlijk nog iets dichterbij, schat. Klara Adalena, Klara Adalena. Klara Adalena, Klara Adalena. Klara Adalena, Klara Adalena. Dat is beter. Klara Adalena. Rumi and calling in your soulmate. Klara Adalena at the Love for Life Academy. Hello everyone. Excited to share with you again about the power that you have through your own desire to call in your soulmate, even if you're never getting beyond your first date now. Your task in love is not to seek love. Your task is to find and go beyond all the obstacles you put between you and love. These famous words, the most quoted words in love and dating, come from Rumi, the ancient poet from the Persian world, 13th century, the most read poet nowadays all over the world. Rumi gives us a vision of love where we are allowed to desire, where the desire itself is transforming us, is healing us, is making us grow beyond our small ego. The desire itself is not to be mistaken for being needy. Desire is a sacred power inherent to us as a human being, a power that we are forgetting in this world of having it all and having everything at an arm's length. In love, we may find back this power of desire, and when we don't understand desire, we won't succeed in dating. And then we find ourselves being stuck again and again at square one, not even being able to meet the right man. I like when the music happens like this. Something in his eye grabs hold of a tambourine in me. Then I turn and lift a violin in someone else, and they turn. And this turning continues. It has reached you now. Isn't that something? This is one of Rumi's poems, as translated in Love Poems from God, 12 Sacred Voices from the East and West by Daniel Ladinsky. I like when the music happens like this. Something in his eye grabs hold of a tambourine in me. This, my dear, this, my lovely sister, is right calling us, and brother, by the way, this is right there calling us to remember the power that we have when we allow something in his eye to grab hold of a tambourine in me. Stuff starts happening. So what does that mean? Something in his eye grabs hold of a tambourine in me. We need to understand that love, true love, the love that we are seeking, is always a love on two levels. It is both human love and it is divine love. And it all starts with the divine love. It starts with something in his eye grabbing hold of a tambourine in me. Now, this is not a human interaction, right? This is something bigger that can grab a tambourine in me that I didn't even know that existed in me, that tambourine. This is sacred love that is calling me, that is rising me up to a new level of being me, where I am sacred, where I am music, where I am rhythm, where I am passion, where I am tambourine. When I am able to allow myself to be awakened to the tambourine, to the passion, to the power of my passion, to be rhythm, to the dance of someone else, then stuff starts happening. That is what this opening paragraph tells us. Love, when I see women who are stuck in square one of dating and who come to me, and you know I speak to thousands, literally over 1,000 women I spoke to this year, intimately, 9-minute conversations, just them and me, about their love life and their struggles with finding a partner. And this is what I hear most often. I cannot get beyond square one. I'm just meeting the wrong guys. I can go on dates, I can go on 10, I can go on 20, but every time I come there and I see the man, it's like, oh my God, no. Or maybe he looks great, but then I communicate with him and it's like, oh no, right? They're too childish. They're too macho. They're too soft. They're not aware of their power. They're not making a scent. They're not meeting me intellectually. They're not meeting me energetically. There is no sparks. You know, these are the things I keep hearing over and over. And that is so sad, because how can we ever move on in life, into partnership, into starting a family together, building a home, buying a house, buying clothes for the baby? How can we ever move there when the only ones we meet are the ones who suck for us? Something in his eye grabs hold of a tambourine in me. This is the change. This is where everything becomes different. When I know how to open up to divine love, when I know how to let the tambourine in me be awakened and let it be played upon by his drum, by his eyes, then something new starts to happen. So what I do always when I actually work with women, and that's an 8-week intense journey. Women describe it as the most magical time of their life. It begins with just this: connecting to the divine in you. Not the divine in him, not the divine out there, the divine in you. And when you can allow this divine in you, and when you can feel it, and when you can feel your body as a temple of the goddess that you are, then things start changing. Then the tambourine in you is starting to be sounded. then the passion in you is starting to create ripples of energy around you. Then that energy field around you becomes alive and awake and throbbing with passion, with life, with possibility, with potential. And that is a force that travels out from you into space and reaches the right ones. The ones who resonate with your rhythm, the rhythm of your tambourine. Something in his eye grabs hold of a tambourine in me. Then I turn and lift a violin in someone else. Then the magic happens. Once my tambourine is playing to the tune, to the rhythm of the divine in me, playing in the sacred temple that I am, making my temple alive and glowing, like the warm lights shining out of the windows, attracting the right person who sees it in a cold, dark world, and who sees that light shining from my temple, that magical, divine light, and knows to walk up to my temple. That is when a violin is being lifted. That is when that person is no longer ignorant of his power, but when that person is starting to feel a violin in his heart. Now that is the biggest gift we can give as a woman to a man. Something in his eye grabs hold of a tambourine in me. Then I turn and lift a violin in someone else. That's our biggest gift. You can do this. Yes, you. You're not aware of that now, and that is why you keep being stuck in square one. That is why you're meeting the wrong guys. Wherever you date, whether it's online or offline, whether you're going to a tantra weekend and looking around and thinking, would he be here? No, wrong ones again. It's like a curse because you don't know how to let your tambourine be played. And without tambourine, you cannot awaken the violin in another. And when the violin is not awakened in another, you're exchangeable. You're just one of the many. Nothing unique is happening here. Nothing soulmate is happening here. Why would he be interested in you? When you're not playing your divine rhythm, when your divine passion is not shining from your eyes, why would he care about you? Because love is not equal. Love is not fair. Love doesn't say, oh yes, yes, my dear, I love you, like our mothers did. I love you forever, so you deserve the best no matter how you show up. That's our mother, right? And we need that mother. But that's not how dating and love work. And I know that's not a nice message to hear. We all feel I'm deserving of love, right? Why doesn't it come? Well, it doesn't come because you're holding back. You may be absolutely deserving. But when you're not playing full out, when you're not allowing your desire to guide your choices, when you think desire equals neediness, then love is not going to be fair to you. And even though you're deserving as hell, love is not going to knock on your door. Love is a challenge. It's a quest. Remember the knights from the Middle Ages? Inspired by the queen, which is a symbol of the goddess, of course, the divine feminine. Inspired by the divine feminine, their tambourine was awakened. And they would go on a quest and they would conquer monsters. And they would come back with a princess that they staved from the dragon. So what that is telling us, that the knights needed to find their courage. It wasn't so much about proving themselves. It was more about awakening to the tambourine, to the courage, to the man that they really were. And then they brought this princess home. Now this is still true, and this is more true for women now than it has ever been before. And that doesn't mean you have to start playing the man's game. Start playing the woman's game. Awaken the divine feminine in yourself and allow that inner source to awaken your temple and to feel yourself as a temple of the goddess. And that, my dear, will mean your tambourine is starting to play and you can feel the passion pulsing through your body. You can feel the passion letting your feet dance to a new rhythm. You can feel the power of your passion and you can feel the ripples of energy starting to dance around you. It's not just you who is dancing, it's the space around you that is dancing. And what do you think is more intriguing to a man than a woman who can let the space dance? This is your challenge as the woman that you are, the knightly woman. This will raise you to fully be who you are and not just the shadow of yourself. And once you're beyond that shadow, once your heart sings loudly, exuberantly, then you call in love. You will be just as deserving as ever, but now you play full out. Now you sing, now your tambourine drums and drums and drums and drums. I want your drum to beat. Because I like it when the music happens like this. Something in his eye grabs hold of a tambourine in me. Then I turn and lift a violin in someone else. And they turn. And this turning continues. Now here you can go two ways with this beautiful poem. You can say it's a ripple effect out into the world. And it is. When you call in your soulmate, and your tambourine plays and his violin plays and you make music together, that is when the two of you start making a ripple out into the world. And you become a source of love. And that's why when you find your soulmate and you go beyond being stuck in square one and your love life comes in the flow and you're actually building that life of your dreams, family, baby, cars, homes, traveling around the world, whatever is your vision, then you become that ripple of love and everything you do comes in the flow. Your work has more impact. You touch more hearts. People turn to you for whatever they need, even if it's just an online product in a web shop, for heaven's sake. Energy is in whatever you do, and people feel it, even through the internet, but certainly in live space. So this happens, and I like it when the music is like this, is how Rumi opens. I like it when love is not just me and you. I like it when love is awakening the tambourine, the violin, and then the trumpet, and then the cello, and then the clarinet. And then it's like an orchestra, and all of us are making music together. And the whole square of the town comes alive with the church standing next to us, and the tower of the church, inspiring us all and beaming the loudest boom as the bells ring. Because it all started with the divine beating my drum. So that is one thing where you can go with this poem. But you can go another way. My tambourine, your violin, and then they turn back towards me. Right? We don't know how they turn. They turn towards the world or they turn back towards me. When they turn back towards me, I am being uplifted by their tambourine, by their violin. And then my clarinet starts to play along with my tambourine. And then his violin doesn't stay alone, but his cello comes. And then do I know that word in English? The triangle thing, right? The ding, that one in me is added. And then the harp in him is added. And both of us are being awakened and awakened and awakened. And we just find new levels of ecstasy and love. And when this happens, it's like a figure eight and a loop. And I awaken him and he awakens me and that awakens him and that awakens me. And that is the ecstasy. That is the pure, intimate love that all of us are seeking nowadays. and that I'm sure you're seeking because you're here, because you're hearing my call, Rumi's call, the call where love is the beloved and the lover dancing eternally together, where love is infinitely fulfilling because the divine in me is dancing with the divine in you, and that is what accelerates our soul and connects us beyond this life. That is what makes us feel heard and met on every plane, because this transcends all planes. This is what finally allows the loneliness in your heart to be fulfilled, to transform through desiring into fulfillment. This is love. This is the love that I know. This is the love that I speak of. This is what calls in your soulmate. And if you're stuck in square one of dating, when you're just meeting the same boring fucking guys all over and over and over again, it is because your harp is not playing. Because you don't understand this musical dance. Because you don't understand passion and desire. Because you fear these powers and you label them as needy. And when you're avoiding these parts of yourself, how can love ever knock at your door? How can this music ever happen that gives you the fulfillment that you seek? I like when the music happens like this. Something in his eye grabs hold of a tambourine in me, and then I turn and lift a violin in someone else. And they turn, and this turning continues. And this turning continues, and this turning continues. It has reached you now. Isn't that something? It has reached you as the listener. Like now we're talking the ripple metaphor. When this happens between me and my divine source, it ripples out in the world. It does. But when we see this as it has reached you now, this awakening, this loop, this figure eight, this back and forth, violin and tambourine and cello and harp and trumpet and clarinet, it's all between you and me. It has reached you now. It has reached the essence of who you are. It's no longer something on the outside, on the outskirts of your being. This has reached you, your core, your divine being. The circle is complete, though it's whole. It started with the divine, and it ends with the divine. And I feel divine in this love between you and me. And you feel divine in this love between you and me. And I tell you, when this level of love is reached, he's not going to go to another woman. Nobody can ever give him this orchestra. Nobody can ever give him this dance of soul and body and heart and mind together. This is a unique gift that can only happen when you call in the right one, and when that turning towards each other happens. That is the love I speak of, and that is the love that I know is waiting for you. And this is the only thing that can ultimately end loneliness. Because we all know marriage by itself doesn't solve loneliness, but this does. Calling in your soulmate, Rumi shows you the way. This is Klara Adalena at the Love for Life Academy. I like it when the music happens like this. Something in his eye grabs hold of a tambourine in me. Then I turn and lift a violin in someone else, and they turn, and this turning continues. It has reached you now. Isn't that something? Thank you for being with me. Thank you for finding this way beyond the stuckness in love. It's a gift to yourself and to the world. The world needs your music to ripple into the world, and somewhere your man is waiting. Thank you, Klara Adalena at the Love for Life Academy, and excited to speak to you next time on Rumi and Calling in Your Soulmate. Aloha.